Welcome to another episode of The American Dream, the only show that combats negative media. We got a great one lined up for you today. You're going to see some really inspirational interviews with thought leaders and people who are really making a difference. But also, unlike any other show, we bring national content, but also local market expertise to help empower your American dream. Got a great show lined up for you. Let's go ahead and get it started right now. Now for the word on the American Dream. You often hear me say the American Dream is a show that combats negative media. What I also want to remind you is that it's your show, not ours. So we bring on all these inspirational interviews, local market expertise, but our job is to reflect the American Dream back to you. Here's how we can interact with you a little bit more. This is our Facebook page. We would love to see you follow this thing. We post all of our clips. Yeah, you catch us on ABC, NBC, CBS. But the world is changing. If you want to follow the show, if you want to follow us, find us on Facebook. We're posting everything there. We're sharing it. A lot of these things are going viral. And that's where you can comment on the show, give us feedback, but also tap into our resources if you need an introduction, if you need advice. If you want to email me directly, follow the show on our Facebook fan page, Instagram, and Twitter. And that's just the word on the American Dream. Let's start the show now. All right, welcome back to The American Dream. Joining us on the show now, Dean Graciosa, who is a New York Times best-selling author. His businesses have done billions. Today, we're going to talk about the successful business blueprint. Dean, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on. So let's talk real quick about your best-selling books and what led you to where we are. So tell us a little bit about your history. Just catch our audience up to speed here.
Yeah, great. You know, everybody's got their story. Everybody's got their past. And if this will just give people kind of insight on the potential, you know, I didn't go past high school. I actually wasn't a great student in high school. I was out by 11 o'clock most days to work with my dad in his collision shop. And I just, at a young age, I hated watching my mother. My mother and father were separated, and I hated watching them struggle. Again, so many people have those same desires and passions. Mine was to retire my mom or have her not work so hard. And I just was lucky enough. I didn't go to college. I didn't have great mentors in my life. But I think at a young age, now looking back, I didn't have this breakthrough or epiphany at that age. But what I did realize is people that were wealthier and happier and life seemed easier, that they just did different things. They had different habits than my parents, my family, my friends that were struggling all the time. And I think I just adopted that at a young age. Plus you combine that with desire and not, you know, the ability, you know, to keep going forward because I wanted to take care of my mom. I remember that was the driving force back then. Of course, it changes over time. I retired my parents in my 20s, but that was my driving force back then. And then I was smart enough to looking back to try to be friends with people a lot older than me that were successful. And everything they said was counterintuitive to what I saw in the news, except for a great show like yours, like the negativity and what could go wrong. And this isn't a great time and it's not the right economy. It's not the right president. But when I met successful people that were older, they taught me that was all nonsense, that was what everybody thought, and that's why most people struggled. And I think at a young age, I just started being the crazy one in my family. My parents thought I was nuts. My friends thought I was insane.
How do you protect your confidence and how do you build it?
Okay, two things. One is and it's all over the internet. It's trendy now, but I would maybe this is the first time you actually heard it and it sticks. Is I have a morning routine that sets me up for a day of playing offense rather than defense. And I'm going to go through it really quick if I got a moment here. Because if I do this every single day, literally I'm on fire. Something goes wrong, I fix it rather than hiding. When instead of waiting for emails to come in, I'm sending emails. Instead of waiting for the deal to happen, I make the deal happen. So first thing is I don't answer I put my phone on airplane mode at night. If you can't do that, then just put it away from your bed. Because here's what I know. If I roll over in the morning and I grab my phone, it's a crapshoot. It's Russian roulette. It's either a good email where I feel good or it's a crappy one and I'm screwed for the day. Right?
100%
so
agree.
I'm not gonna give that email, that text message or whatever it is, the power to rob my confidence first thing. So I open my eyes, the first thing I do, man, if I do this, is I spend a moment on gratitude. Now, everybody knows that. We've talked about gratitude forever, but I lower the bar. You know, 150,000 people die every single day. If you just open your eyes and go, wow, I'm alive today, or wow, these sheets feel amazing, or wow, it's raining, or wow, it's sunny. It tricks your mind. I got goosebumps, I'm not kidding you. I get goosebumps because I literally think, holy excuse my language, I'm here, I'm alive. I woke up today, right? But then as soon as I do that, which is just moments, it just changes my framing of my mind, then I immediately go into one win from the day before. As entrepreneurs, successful people want to go to the next level, we're always beating ourselves up. We don't give ourselves credit. We think we don't get enough done. We wish we were further along in life. We look in the mirror and say, man, I thought I'd be further ahead. I thought I'd be richer. I thought I'd be happier. I thought I'd have my own business. We beat ourselves up when in fact you're doing so many incredible things. So the next thing I do is think of a win from the day before, and then I think of a win I want that day. And literally in 5 minutes, I'm in this different frame of gratitude. Oh my God, I did great yesterday. I can do great today. Still didn't look at my phone. And then for me, I just feed my body. I felt like I fed my head. Now I feed my body. For me, it's like a scoop of green powder, some MCT oil, some apple cider vinegar, a lemon. I pound it and I feel like I nourished my body, alkalined it. And then for me, I go move. Doesn't mean everybody has to go to the gym or exercise, but go move. Get the energy flowing. Get oxygen to your brain. You know, it's hard to be sad. It's hard to be depressed when you got oxygen flowing through your body, when your heart's racing. So if I do that, and I'm telling you, I mess it up some days, I'll be honest, but I do that 90% of the time, and within that little bit of time in the morning, I set my day up for confidence. I'm like, come get me, world, rather than, oh my God, the world's gonna come get me. And as minimal as that might sound in the overall success of your life, to me, it's everything. If I'm not confident, I'm not good on camera. If I'm not confident, I don't write a good book. If I'm not confident, I don't close the $20 million real estate deal. Your confidence has to be protected at all matters, and do whatever you can. And whether that's not watching negative news in your life. If the negative news makes you feel like the world's coming to hell in a handbasket, don't watch it. If you have a friend that tells you you're crazy, you're a dreamer, end that friendship or put a wall up. Do whatever it takes in your morning, in your day, to protect your confidence. And to me, that's the foundation of the, part of the bulletproof, blueprint for success.
All right, man. Spitting fire today.
I didn't mean it. I'm on a tear today.
I love the grateful nature. Holy I'm alive today. I hate to have you swear on a show by yourself, so I'm going to join you there. They're going to have to bleep both of us out.
Thank you. Now I feel so much better.
Do you feel better? I know it comes from a
you.
place of passion. I think I just coined delusionally passionate. You have coined successful business blueprint. I love the fact that you're talking about mindset, starting your day out, putting your phone aside, not playing that game of Russian roulette with your email, getting your day going right, having confidence. It's a great message for the American dream. As you can see, Dean is the man. Make sure you follow him online. Hey, and don't forget about us. Even though you're catching the show on cable right now, you can follow us on social media. That's where you see all the behind-the-scenes stuff, pictures, graphics, memes, really the fun part of this show. Follow us on our social media. We'd love to hear from you. Breathe oxygen into this positive message. More of the American dream coming up next. Joining us on the American Dream now, she needs no introduction. She is an Olympic gold medalist, but what you might not know, also a successful entrepreneur. Shaun Johnson East joins us on the show. Good to have you on the program, Shaun. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, of course, we got to ask you about your time as an Olympian athlete. Tell us about winning the gold medal.
It was the most incredible experience of my life. I was 16 years old, so I was just a baby, but it was a dream being able to wear the red, white, and blue and represent the country on the world's largest stage. It was just a pinch me moment for months on end.
Tell us a little bit about your training to become an Olympic athlete.
Well, I started gymnastics when I was 3 years old, like any kid in a recreational sport or like swim lessons. I trained all the way up until I was 16 and competed. But in the peak of my career, I was training probably 40 hours a week in the gym. I had nutritionists, psychologists. Everything I did on a day-to-day basis was revolved around gymnastics.
What were some of the most valuable life lessons you learned at that time?
I think the most valuable life lesson you can learn in gymnastics, humbly, is you have to fall on your face like a million times before you ever have the chance to succeed. The beam is a pretty humbling apparatus to be on. Yes, you split the beam, you land on your face, you do all these things, and it's just a humbling sport, but it reminds you that if you work hard enough, you can succeed if you just keep persevering.
What is what you envision for Fit over the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh my gosh. Well, the launch is probably the biggest thing. We're launching this week, and it's just kind of going to be a soft launch. We're not doing anything huge. We have a few pieces of clothing we're going to test out in the first class, but in 6 to 12 months, I would love to have just a lot of fitness classes that are available. I felt like the fitness industry was kind of inundated with these classes and this approach of everything extreme. It's how to lose weight in 10 days or how to transform yourself. So this is just kind of a more approachable feel of people truly learning about the fitness industry.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. I hope our audience can follow you online, follow your journey. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And cheers to your American dream, Shaun Johnson East. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. If you want to follow her, at Shaun Johnson is her Instagram handle. You can follow us as well. I'm sure it's on the lower third below us. More of the American dream coming up next. Well, as you know, the American Dream is a national program where we focus on business, the entrepreneurial spirit, overcoming adversity, finance, the market, all things that are relevant to empowering your American dream. But a big topic of conversation on this show is housing. So what we do is we integrate local, top-producing, award-winning realtors to cover a wide range of topics on that subject, different micro markets, different niche subject matter. Housing is such a big topic, so we're going to bring you a lot of information right now from some of the best in your market. Let's check out these interviews.
Welcome back to the American Dream as we now focus in on your local Dallas market. My next guest is Denton Aguam. He is the owner-founder of Dare Network with Keller Williams Realty. Denton, thanks so much for being back on the program.
Yeah, good to be back. Thank you.
So Denton, I see that you've brought on a very special team member with you today.
Yeah, that's right. So I brought on Lindsay Knight, and just a quick story. She is my first hire back in 2012 when we started the company. She's helped me build it today. We've got a little over 20 people now and some big goals. But I kind of brought her here today to talk about what's going on in the market, what's going on day to day on the street.
Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for coming on our show, and I'm excited to talk to you. I have a few questions for you in just a moment, but Denton, I want to start with you. Tell me a little bit about the market. Give us a brief overview.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is a little bit of a shift. Again, I'm sure everybody's hearing that. It's slowly moving towards a buyer's market, still a strong seller's market, but slowly moving towards that buyer's market where a few less offers, a few less showings. You're seeing a lot more price reductions and homes sitting on the market actually longer.
So Lindsay, is buying a home in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, is that still a good investment? Is it still a good idea?
Yeah, absolutely. Experts are saying yes. We've had such a drastic, I would say, rise in home prices, but we also still have a drastic rise in job growth. And so for the foreseeable future, at least, there's still a ton of prospective buyers out there.
What about relocation buyers? I know that there's an exorbitant amount of people coming in from out of state or from other areas moving into the Dallas area. Why is that?
Yeah, so we have moved so many people in just recently from out of state. I think a couple of reasons. I think that the quality of life here in the Dallas area is amazing, but they can get more for their money, better houses, better schools, and then with all the job growth, I think there's a ton of opportunity here.
So Lindsay, when they are relocating, how are they selecting the particular suburbs that they're moving into? I mean, there's so many in the Dallas area. How do they know which one is best for them or their families, let's say?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time with the clients before they actually come to Dallas to explore, just talking about the different personalities of our different school districts, of the different cities. The best example I would say I could give is like in Collin County, we have incredible schools. But like Allen ISD is one big high school, and it's super competitive and very sports driven, where Frisco ISD is keeping their schools at 4A, so they are more academic driven and smaller. If I have clients that are really active and like to be outside, McKinney is unique by nature. Or if you want to be close to the city, they can head up to Prosper, where their tagline is small town, big heart, but yeah, you have access to everything you could possibly need. So I just kind of drill in on what's important to their family while also keeping them in a time frame of their commute that they're looking wherever they're coming to work in Dallas.
And are you really fielding those questions with your clients when they're originally calling you and you're talking to them? Are you saying, do you have a family? What are your interests? What are your hobbies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tell me about your family. How old are your kids? What do you do for fun? Are you more of a outside runner, hiking, biking, or do you like to be on a patio on a Friday night? I drill all the way in. I had a client just recently moving here from Chicago that said, get me near a Costco and a Nordstrom. So we have drilled down to getting her close to those things.
Sure. Well, one incredible home that there is a beautiful opportunity to purchase is actually one of yours, Denton. Tell me about this listing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful listing in the hot part of Dallas, 5314 Manette Street. It's off Knox Henderson area off 75. It's a beautiful custom home, kind of a modern contemporary. We've been working with a great builder down there. Brand new home. It's got a large back area that also has a grill area. It's absolutely beautiful. 4-bed, 3.5 baths, a little over 4,300 square feet. So a lot of space too for being kind of more urban area.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it sounds fantastic. Thank you both so much for being on The American Dream today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we will be right back with more of the show. Well, we want to give a warm welcome to a gentleman who is appearing on The American Dream now for the first time. I want to welcome onto the program James Sharp. He is a top producer, owner, and realtor of the Sharp Real Estate Group. James, thank you so much for being on with us.
Thanks for having me, Jennifer. I'm a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're just thrilled to talk to you. I know you are a top producer. You're one of the best in the business. And today we're really going to focus in on new construction in the Dallas area because I know Dallas is the #1 new construction market. Is that true?
That is absolutely the case. Every time I talk to a buyer, whether they're a local or from out of state, they're always shocked with that statistic. It's absolutely true. We have more new homes available here in Dallas-Fort Worth Metro than any other major market in the United States.
So why should a buyer consider a new construction home? What are the benefits there?
Absolutely. One of the first things I always tell a lot of my new buyers, especially if they're considering new construction, is, hey, you get to pick your own lot, the location. You heard the adage in real estate, location, location, location. And it's no different on a new construction home because a lot of times you can pick your lot, which is a huge benefit for a lot of folks. Some folks are concerned with the facing of the house, if it faces north, south, whatever. There's also that placement of, hey, I want to be close to the amenity center, I want to be close to the community pool, maybe close to get in and out. Also, sometimes desirability, hey, I want to be in a cul-de-sac, I want the oversized lot. So a lot of those features of lot placement, selection, and the location. And then obviously a huge part is making it custom, picking out your design, your features. Hey, I want a 1-story, I want a 2-story. I like having, the bonus room upstairs. I want the mother-in-law suite. So a lot of those features plays into new constructions, which on a pre-owned home, you're kind of stuck with what you get.
Do you believe that new construction homes are a little bit more expensive, though, than previously owned homes?
Sometimes that is the case, but many times there's other factors that play into it. Obviously, a lot of things go into different price ranges of homes and different features in the sales price. But one thing I always try to bring out to every buyer, especially when they are considering new construction versus a pre-owned, is consider all the costs that goes into having a new construction home. And one of the key ingredients is not just on the sales price, but it's the operating costs. So think of, insurance costs. A lot of folks don't know, a lot of buyers, especially if they're coming into the market, don't know that when you buy a new construction home, your insurance premiums are a lot of times less because there's less risk for the insurance company. If you got a new roof, for example, they're not taking the risk on versus a pre-owned home that's more susceptible to damage. Also, your premiums will be a lot less because there's a lot less to go wrong. Water heaters, major mechanics, air conditioning systems, plumbing systems, electrical systems are usually covered with a nice comprehensive, I call it the bumper-to-bumper warranty within the industry of real estate that usually covers those for the first 1, 2, 5, 10 years, depending on builder. So a lot of your carrying costs of what it would cost to insure it, to maintain it, to upkeep it. And a lot of folks forget that, when you buy a new home, a lot of times the functionality of these pieces of equipment, major equipment points, will last, a good 10, 15 years. You're not having to do those updates too. I'm in an older home and I've had expensive updates, redoing kitchens and bathrooms and updating all these fixtures, which could add to tremendous expense. So when you combine all that into it, sometimes I've had clients surprisingly, and especially when you figure also energy efficiencies, well, a lot of times electric bill is less because energy efficiencies, high efficiency air conditioners or added insulation brings down utility costs. So when they figure all those factors from insurance, utility, maintenance, and updates, it sometimes plays out where it's the same, if not less, than a pre-owned home.
And we should mention that typically new construction will highlight the newer trends, right? The open concept, I think, is incredibly popular right now, isn't it?
Absolutely. I always tell people buy as new a home as you can afford and buy in the right location. Desirability of those plays into new construction because you can, a lot of times, like I mentioned, pick your location, pick your features, and pick those trends. And those are key ingredients of when you buy a new home, and you can design all that into that.
Fantastic. Well, great tips today, James. Thank you so much for being on The American Dream.
Thanks for having me, Jen. I enjoyed it.
And for our viewers watching, we encourage you to follow us along on social media or go to our website, AmericanDreamNetwork.tv, and we'll be right back with more of the show.
You just heard from award-winning realtors about your marketplace. It's one thing to find your dream home. It's another thing to finance it. I've traveled the country to find the best mortgage experts in every city. You're going to hear from yours in a Mortgage Minute right now. Let's check it out.
This week, I want to talk to you about a little myth conception that I see a lot and we get a lot of calls about. The myth conception that you have to put 20% down to buy a home. Now, if you bought a home before, you know this isn't true, but for many millennials and first-time homebuyers, you do believe you have to get 20% down or you'll get some grossly inappropriate terms for your loan. But that's simply not the case. The minimum down you can put for a first-time homebuyer is actually 3% down. Now there's some income qualifications, etc., but you get excellent rates. You just have to pay what's called mortgage insurance, and that's at anything less than 20% down. Now mortgage insurance isn't a bad thing. It's actually the only reason we don't have to put 20% down on our loan. That insurance insures the lender in case of default with anything less than that 20% down. So it's a good thing. It can help you buy a house, but you can put 3, 5, 10, 15, 20% down. You don't have to have that big a savings to do it. And there are even bond programs available to help cover the gap for that 3% down payment. So don't get yourself out of the market if you don't have that big savings. The American dream is alive and well. Home prices are appreciating, but home interest rates are on the rise too. So if you want to afford the most home possible, the idea is to buy now and get yourself into the home of your dreams. Put a little bit of money down, put an investment up, your initial investment, but don't put yourself out of the market because you don't have the 20%. That's your Mortgage Minute.
And welcome back to The American Dream. Now for your title tip of the week, we have Zach Sams with us, Executive VP of Kensington Vanguard, National Title of Texas. Zach, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Jen. Great to be back on.
So fraud is something that we hear an awful lot about, Zach, but wire fraud is plaguing the business right now. Tell me a little bit more about that and what wire fraud is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So, I was mentioning to you off air that in May last year, we had a 480% increase in wire fraud attempts in the real estate business. And the average everyday consumer is not involved in the real estate business every single day. So they're not aware of what, potentials that can be out there. So what we see and what we're experiencing is daily attacks against realtors, title companies, and people involved in the real estate transactions of people trying to intercept people's funds when buying homes and steal those. So basically they do phishing scams via email trying to intercept wire transfers, and it happens all the time, and it's really a problem in our industry right now.
So how does your average everyday person avoid this?
Another great question. Really, it's kind of common sense, really, but you just don't really think about it. I mean, you really need to be diligent in your communications and really paying attention to what communications are going on and who is sending them, and just trying to be aware and know what to look for fraud. I think, we all remember the emails we got where, royalty in, Southern Africa has left, 1 million gold bars, please email us back if you want to collect. So, I mean, that's a really bad example of a wire fraud attempt. But now we've seen them much more sophisticated where they're doing great jobs of copying email addresses and going as far as copying the signature lines and the fonts and pictures of real estate agents. And then they will send emails out asking people to change their wire instructions or send wires here. And the everyday consumer sees that and thinks that's their agent just working on their behalf to ask them, to provide wire instructions to, this or that account. They also do it with title companies. And people need to know that, first of all, you do not participate in conversations or change wiring instructions via email. That's something that, any good title company or strong real estate agent is going to know that something that's done over the phone is done where it can be verified that these are true requests to change wire instructions.
So what do you do if, God forbid, your money is stolen?
Well, first of all, you need to contact the title company, your lender, your bank, and let them know that if you even suspect that, any type of wire fraud could be going on. You can contact the FBI in your local area, and they have a wire fraud specialist or a department for cybercrime that, can go after that money. And really, and at the moment that you feel wire fraud has happened, it is really like time is of the essence. Like, if you can get to your bank within 24 hours, sometimes they can recall those wires. So it's really about speed, but it's really more about prevention. We just don't want to get to that area. So being diligent, verifying, and really just making sure that, you're keeping one eye open when it comes to your funds and wiring those funds, because real estate, it's an emotional time. It's kind of chaotic when you're buying and selling a home, and it's real easy for an email or something like that to kind of slip through the cracks, and then you become a victim. And I hear monthly of people that are losing 50, 100,000, up to millions of dollars in wire transactions that are going overseas, and that money's gone.
Well, great information today, Zach. Thank you so much for bringing this to the forefront. We really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen, for having me on.
And we'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
All right, that's all for The American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.